Colin Brennan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life. gbhblofficial.com for sure. And they're back in our reaction video series. It's Lockhorns, the progressive technical metal band, rock, whatever you want to call it. They are progressive. Let's stick with that. They've got a new track out and it's called Frenzy. Oh, how exciting. Because pretty much everything this band does, we tend to enjoy, whether it's a reaction or an album review. In the case of Red Room, which was like released, oh God, actually. That was roughly about a year ago. Yeah, roughly about a year
Yeah, it was like
ago.
it was definitely last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Well, the date for the publication of the review was the 25th of May, 2024.
So almost a
So,
year
yeah.
to the date, almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And even that was 5 years between that and the last time they had done something. So, it was a big gap. They had evolved and changed. And we ended up doing a reaction video to one of the tracks from, I can't remember what the track was. Do you remember what it was?
No,
No, the same here. But
I'm old.
they've been on our radar for a while. I mean, we go all the way back to 2019, where we
Yep.
did a feature on them for Bloodstock. So they've always been on our radar here and there. And when we saw, hey, they've got a new track out, and I saw it, and I thought, oh, that must be from the last album. Maybe the kind of last, bands do that sometimes. The last hurrah of an album, the last part of the cycle is just release
Mm.
one final single. I presume it was going to be that, but it's not. It's a brand new track, and yeah, we're going to look into it. It's 5 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm excited. I presume you are, because I feel like you're the bigger Lockhorn fans.
Yeah, I
Lockhorn
mean,
fans.
I've never not liked anything they put out. That's the thing with them. Like, it's not
Yeah.
always been like fanboyish sort of stuff because of the big gaps and things like that, you know? So there's an
Yeah.
element where you're like really into a band and then you don't hear from them for a few years and you move on, like, you know what I mean? And then they
Yeah,
brought out
yeah.
their last album and it was really, really good and I made it quite high up in my albums of the year and I listened to it, like on repeat in the shuffle, like for the best stuff that came out that year, and was really impressed. So they were then, and obviously you were talking about them, their previous Bloodstock appearance. They were then
Hmm.
announced to play Bloodstock this year as well. So they're on the
Of
Sophie Lancaster stage.
course.
So it's a weird thing. Like even with that big gap, I feel like a lot of horns have been like within, the stuff that I'm involved in and going to festivals, listening to all the way from that original Bloodstock and going into 2025's Bloodstock and probably beyond. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? They're a really good band. I
Hmm.
hope that the hiatus and like obviously it all came over a tricky time for everybody anyway.
Of
It was
course, yeah.
COVID time and all that sort of stuff. But hopefully this is they're back solid and they just kick on really.
Yeah, I'd forgotten they were announced for Bloodstock 2025. That's cool. Hopefully, we get to see him there. But for now, we're going to dive in and watch a bit of Frenzy. Let's do this in three, two, one, go. Should say it's an official visualizer.
watching. You brought this all upon yourself, scattering and scraping like frightened ants under a blistering sun. True panic to see the truth for what it really is. Rotten little insect, pestilences beating his drum. Just extricate or you become the monster. You're a rabbit, fever, frantic, frenzy.
Okay. The
Damn.
track we previously did was The Golden Mean.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
An apt title. An apt title, not just from the song perspective either, but from the video perspective. Obviously, it's an official visualizer, and it is a frenzy of imagery that a lot of time makes very little sense, but overall just songs to be about the frenzied nature of humanity and life in general. Mixed then with a track that certainly has frenzied elements as well. Disjointed as fucking places. Sometimes there's a little just jarring to a degree with a tone shift. There's a particular middle point that made me kind of raise my eyebrows, but that wasn't to suggest I disliked it or the song at all. I am familiar, used to progressive metal, particularly in the extreme side of things. I have no problem with it. In fact, I enjoy a ton of it. Sometimes I get a little worried that it can like bands that kind of stick to this style because sometimes to me go off on meandering wanders just because hey, progressive means weird, and you've kind of just got to accept that even if there's a structure of a song, it ends up falling apart. I think Lockhorn skirted with that a couple of times in this track, where sometimes it's like we were kind of going da 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 da, and it's up and down like that, and then it's like, way, we're off. It's like, well, where the fuck are you going, man? Like, you want to come back and actually like something. But they always had something that was kind of hooking me back in. A lot of the time it might be the vocals, particularly as well, that were kind of hooking it back in and bringing it back, or it would slip back into a nice rhythm that almost at times had groove as well. All of that makes it so much more enjoyable and much easier to sort of part with and deal with the jarring moments, even if it is pushing it. Like there's so much like that is. It's almost a poor job of a reaction because that's not the kind of track you simply sit there and go, well, it's not, and try to sum it up because of its nature, because of its style. Other than your initial first thoughts, you almost need to re-listen to it and study it and pick out the bits because you are talking about a number of different instruments doing different things. And yeah, how it all comes together and things you might miss because, hey, you're focused on an image in a video. Hey, you put up flies and maggots at one stage. That distracted me, and then I might stuff like that. So it needs like study to a degree. Whereas other times, it's like the initial feeling I'm getting. So like the ending, I didn't really care for. So like that I almost lost my focus there. We only got a couple of seconds left, but because it felt like it was a bit like, well, what are we doing here? And then it just peters out. I was a bit like, oh, okay, that's it. But whereas other parts where it's kind of got that groovy kind of vibe, particularly early on, I'm really, really into it. But because of the different tempos as well, I'm kept on the edge of my seat, and that's interesting and exciting to some degree, but it's also a challenge. So one and done is simply not enough. I think it's an incredible song. I do think it's an incredible song because to be able to create music like this, but also music that's interesting, compelling, exciting, and makes me want to hear it again / hear more from this band, as always. That's really, really difficult to do, I think. So the fact that they do it so well, particularly at their level, that's the thing. And I don't mean to be insulted by their level as if they're lower level. I mean is on the level in regards to viewership, people that have noticed them, how well known they are in the scene and stuff like that. Like they're doing it really, really strong. And it's kind of one of those where it's like, I wonder what it's going to take for more people to notice them because they're clearly incredibly talented, clearly understand how to write good, progressive, technically minded, extreme music at times, but also elements that kind of skirts the line and can go on a bit more of the rock side of things, you know? I don't know if it's going to be a track like this because, again, the problem with a music like this and a track like this is that for every person that says, oh, that's genius, there's no person that's going to say it's nonsense. And that's because it's all disjointed and over the place. And regardless of the moments of groove, but hey, here's a moment where all the instruments just stop and the vocals start to almost become a spoken word with a blacker sound to them, a background black sound to them. It's like a lot of people won't like that, and I understand that too. I completely get that. For me, it's disjointed. I recognize that, and on a first listen, I'm like, okay, but I remember it. I can easily see it being the more compelling part of the track the more times you listen to it, because then you're going to understand the flow better. I think weirdly, if you know things like that are coming, sometimes it's better rather than you being surprised by it. So I think in a second listen, knowing it's coming, I'll be awaiting, I'll be listening out for it, and I'll be interested to sort of see how it flows in and out of that moment or those other moments as well, rather than being like, oh, what the hell just happened here? You know? Yeah, I'm just rambling. I've rambled a lot there, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's all right. It was almost
Yeah.
frenzied.
Yeah, there we go. It's fucking got all at getting us. Yeah.
Yeah. um, yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of things I agree with you on. There's not anything that I particularly disagree with you on. But like, I think weirdly watching this, listening to this for the first time while watching the video probably didn't help very much because there was a sensory overload, really.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I think if you're sitting there with your headphones on or whatever, a record playing, a CD playing, or a cassette, why not? We'll do that.
Why
Or your
not?
gramophone. I think you focus in more on the music, right? You know what I mean? Whereas obviously when there's so much going on in that video, and I really like the video, but I like it for different reasons. That's because I like to try and find meaning in things where sometimes there's meant to be meaning and sometimes there isn't, but I find it anyway. And I was like, with that video, I feel like I could mute the song. Not that I'd want to, but I could mute the song and then spend 2 hours trying to break the video down and picking out these little things that I'm taking from it about, people being put in boxes and about how it would be good to like rewind and seeing people that are moving backwards and everything like that and taking a step back and moving back in time and maybe resetting and restarting. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, like I do this. This is what I do. I do it with lyrics. I do it with videos. But it is a lot going on in the video, and there is a lot going on in the song, and so the two of them together, like it's just a lot. Having said that, like right, so more so than you, I am less a fan of progressive metal. I always struggle when songs go too off kilt or too off rhythm. I like to be able to catch a beat and I can't, and then I feel like I'm headbanging, and then all of a sudden I'm juttering like the nurse out of Silent Hill because I don't know what I'm meant to be doing anymore. you know. So like that's where I've always sort of struggled with it. But weirdly with Lock Horns, I've always found that I felt they have a good balance in that they can take me to that edge where I'm starting to get worried that, like, oh, what's going on with my head now? And then pull it back. Like
Right.
just like at the brink, you know what I mean? Very rarely letting me go over it to the point where I'm a little frustrated before they bring it back.
Yep.
I don't know why. Like that sort of synchronized with them with me, where I feel like they don't go too long with it. Like as in like there's always a bit of groove coming. There's always something I can catch that's coming back in. I also very, very much appreciate the creativity that I think the band bring, and because of like being such a fan of the last album, I maybe that helped set me up a bit more for this song, potentially. And then I'm kind of I'm listening, but I'm also thinking forward into the song. And like there was a point halfway. I'm guessing time. It might have been a minute in. It might have been halfway. Who knows? Where I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do any clean singing. Like, because of that, that's what I was getting on the last album. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Right.
in a way, I was set up, I think, quite nicely for that. You know, like almost not expecting, but you know, because I like the last album so much, having like almost a wish list in my head. So then when something drops, and I'm like, ah, because actually, weirdly, the choruses are quite anthemic. Like they're quite huge, and you know, I like the creativity. I like the spoken word section. It threw me for a second because I hadn't really expected that one at all. That one wasn't on the list. But I think it's less of a worry when, you know, if you listen to a song and it's a band you like and you kind of think you know what you're going to get, and nine of your checklist items get ticked off, and then there's one surprise in there, that's kind of cool. Whereas if you don't know what you're going to get and you get nine surprises and one thing you were expecting, then it's kind of like discombobulating, you know? So for me, like it flowed well. I liked it. You know, the only bit, like, only because of that whole nurse out of Silent Hill thing again, like, is the ending because, like, that's the ending of the song, and I kind of want to be like, go for it. And in
Yeah,
that, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what to do here now.
Yeah,
I'd have to
that would
just
actually
stop
be
and just stand
sucky
still.
live. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the rest of the song wouldn't be, but like you'd almost want it to the cheer to sort of go up as that's kind of starting to happen, and then like, do you know what I mean? But I liked it a lot. I think it's very, very much in keeping with what was on the previous album, and I think like again, I'm not saying this with any kind of like fucking knowledge or fact or anything like that, but you know, when you mentioned about what do Lockhorns have to do to, you know, grow, I guess,
Yeah.
you know, and I think for them, for the most part, they got to kind of be consistent now. I
Mm.
think when you come back from a long period out,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just a period out, you know, the band were quite open about that. It was also a lot of change, both in mentality and approach and everything like that. You know, they
Yeah.
reset.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
come
It's
back
not the
out.
same band it was in 2019. Yes.
No, you know you release. It's not your debut, but it's almost like your debut. You know what I mean? You go
Yeah.
right here. We're back. This is our album, and it's not. And your growth isn't going to just instantly come from that return. It's now, you know, this song. What comes next? The Bloodstock appearance and maintaining that consistency both of quality but also regularity of release. You know,
Mm.
another 5 year gap could kill the band, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I think they do because I think they've got the rest of the components. I think they have talent. I think they
Yeah.
have skilled musicianship wise. Like, you know, they're obviously got a great drummer, great vocalist, great guitarist. They've got all the components that are there for it. It's like, you know, to have it's now just about creating that a solid, consistent catalog, getting yourself out there. You know, Bloodstock should hopefully help them again with that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
You know
it's
what?
in their own hands, I think.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, like it requires a little bit of luck in life as well.
Yes,
But
yeah,
it
of course.
seems just looking kind of through their plans. It seems like they've got plenty going on at the moment, and that's great to see. But you know what I realized as you were sort of talking about, like, because one thing everybody will agree on, and we've said it as well, is you hear a track like that, you will recognize whether you like it or not, whether it's for you or not, you will recognize talent. You will recognize great playing. It was going back to Desert Fest. It was a band I saw. It was a headliner. It was kind of a whole big thing. It was one of the headliners in the busiest night for the Electric Ballroom, and everybody was loving it. And I was bored after 25 minutes. But I recognized how strong on they were on stage because of the progressive rock and how strong and how good they were at it. But I found it dull as fucking dishwater.
Right.
That's not saying that's for Lockhorns. What I'm saying is it's a similar thing in that everybody can hear it. And even if it's not for you, you can recognize the talent. But you know what would be really, really would have been cool? And obviously, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, because budget and money and all of that kind of thing. But had I heard that song, but watched them. I want to see them playing those rhythms. I want to hear those choppy little bits. I want that ending. I want to see how that's played out. Like, I want to see the instruments being played with. It's a big part, I think, a lot of progressive and technical metal and overall is you kind of want to sort of see. Think about like Meshuggah, like at Bloodstock. Well, we didn't really enjoy it. How many people said, "Oh, it's just great to see
Mm.
that stuff happening," and that's a lot of it. Sometimes I think with this music, where it's like it sounds great, you know, it's coming from really talented people doing incredible stuff, particularly creating music like this, man. But I want to see you playing those guitars. I want to see that bass. I want to see how your hands move and your body contorts to the weird music you're making. You know, I don't
See
know.
93 strings and
Yeah,
whatever
you
you put
just
on that
exactly
guitar.
that. I want to see your fucking mental instruments.
No, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I mean, the positive that we've got to look forward to is that there's a good possibility, hopefully, that we might get to see that live and in person, with our own eyes in a couple of months' time. So,
Yeah, if it's on a selfie stage, you always get a good view there as well. So that's
yeah.
really cool. I'm glad. I'm glad. Bloodstock is not that far away anymore, but Bloodstock still feels that far away. That I have not stopped to look at that lineup since
Yeah.
since it kind of got roughly completed. It'll be good to go and properly look at it because finding out Lockhorns are there, hearing this new track, who knows what we'll get maybe beforehand as well. That's exciting. It's a very cool track, a track that needs more listens for me personally. But I don't think that doesn't mean it's a bad fucking track. You'll be amazed by how many fucking things I need to listen to more than once before I fully take it in. I know it looks like the amount of shit I write. It looks like I listen to half a song and then write a full album review. But that's actually not how it goes. I just happen to have headphones on from the moment I wake up to the moment I fucking go to bed. That's how it works. So I will give this another go. I've already saved it and put it to the side because I want to kind of appreciate it. It's going to be part of the single slam as well. But yeah, for now, Frenzy, Lockhorns, what do you reckon? You got any thoughts on this one? Is it your jam? Or does it kind of make your toes curl? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.